doesn't feel fresh still.
It still doesn't feel fresh. The wound still feels fresh, if you will.
There are no wounds for me, but it just doesn't feel fresh to see the Patriots.
And I know we are far removed from the Seahawks and the Russell Wilson days, but still, like it. They for a while, and they only won one. They went to 2 and they won 1.
Do you think people in Seattle call those the Russell Wilson days?
They call it the Legion of Boom days.
I think so, yeah.
They call it the 12th man days. Well, they're always 12th man, but
they call it
it's the Legion of Boom days. But Russell Wilson made some big throws, big moments for Russell. One of the worst throws, too, which should have been a handoff to Marshawn Lynch, and maybe they win 2 instead of 1.
He was so good for them, but he's also so unlikable.
But their defense was so good, and a lot of those guys were so likable that they, for years, were the cream of the crop, the creme de la creme in the NFL. And then you had the Patriots, who I don't need to tell you about their storied history and what they've done in the last 25 years. But it just feels different. There's no Patrick Mahomes. There's no Sean McVay. There's no Eagles. There's no 49ers making the move here. This is Patriots Seahawks that is familiar based on the fact that they played in the Super Bowl before, but it's still a little unfamiliar with the fact that we have so many new storylines. So, a lot of storylines for this Super Bowl. We'll take yours for Super Bowl 60 if you want to text in your top storylines, 82945, starting with DAE. We'll open up the phone lines as well. What are you looking for? What are the storylines for you? 888-546-4620. For me, Pat, the Patriots being back. That's the storyline. How they did it. Tom Brady years.
They were terrible last year.
Terrible. Tom Brady comes into Tampa, wins a Super Bowl. You decide to continue with Bill Belichick and Mac Jones, and that doesn't work out. And Bill Belichick, you move on, you part ways from him, and you go to what seemed to be an obvious choice, a Super Bowl champion with the Patriots and Mike Vrabel, who had success in Tennessee. And the Patriots in year 2 of Drake May are back, and they look back. They look like the Patriots. Now, even though everyone has them losing this game to the Seahawks, the brand of Patriot football, the style of Patriot football that started off the Tom Brady era, that seems to be back.
I'm torn between my top story. I think there's 2 things that I look at in this game that I really think are huge stories and part of my favorite stories of this game. One of them is the fact that Sam Darnold, in his first year as the Seattle Seahawks quarterback, has led that team, or at least helped lead that team to a Super Bowl. And this is a guy that at one point we had every single one of us, every single football fan, every single football analyst, we had all given up on Sam Darnold at one point in his career. And here he is, the first quarterback from the 2018 class to lead his team to a Super Bowl. I think it's a massive story, but also we're talking about a guy on the flip side who could do something that's never been done before, and that's coach a team to a Super Bowl after playing for that team and winning a Super Bowl. And as much as I've never been a Patriots guy, and their fans are obnoxious, and I know you're listening, David, you're obnoxious. That's my little brother. He's obnoxious. All Patriots fans obnoxious. All right? But that said, Vrabel's a likable dude, and he's a guy that if you're a football fan, you can't help but like. And for him to be like such a unique player too, a linebacker who has like 7 or 8 touchdown receptions, right? Like he had such a unique career, won Super Bowls with the Patriots, and now could win a Super Bowl as the head coach of the Patriots. That story is so unbelievably unique. And Aaron, we talked about it a couple years ago when he was on, I think it was Bussin' with the Boys. And remember what he said? He said we cut it off to win a Super Bowl. Did you see that was brought up to him this week?
Yeah, I think he said he cut half of it off, and it was something about he put a number out there.
6.
What did he say?
He said he would cut half of it off and leave his wife with 6.
That's awesome. That's
some bravado, right? You're about to coach in the Super Bowl for the first time, and you're like, yeah, you're making jokes about cutting half of it off.
And then still being massive. You know? That was a thing that I was like, wow, I've never heard a coach talk about how massive he is.
I'm the gayest straight man you'll ever meet.
I didn't say it. Vrabel said it.
You know what? I wish I could tell you where to find the size and girth drop, because he's got a pretty solid drop on that end as well.
I know we're far removed from it.
Size and girth, your size and girth comment?
I'm trying to be far removed from that. The Patriots Seahawks Super Bowl, that is, where they infamously threw the football the Seahawks did instead of running it to Marshawn Lynch. Malcolm Butler made a name and a contract for himself in that game. I think that rematch is a storyline. Because, like I mentioned, some of the prop bets, do they mention, Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick first? I do believe that is a big storyline here.
Which I kind of hate, honestly, because
two different teams, two different eras.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be talked about, like you said. There are prop bets about it. I don't like it because I think it takes away from the guys that are on the field right now and the players and coaches that matter right now. And I'm not saying, don't mention it. That's dumb. But I don't want it to be too much of a storyline because nobody involved is really even in the NFL anymore, right? Like in the NFL. So it's hard to get too excited about that as far as, even the coaches. Bill Belichick's at UNC, and Pete Carroll was just fired. Even the coaches aren't in the NFL anymore.
They're down and out, those coaches. On the text line from the 813, here's the top storyline from this one person. Arrogant NFL gets the snooze fest matchup they deserve. Lowest ratings ever. It will not be the lowest ratings ever. People will watch this game. It's not going to be a snooze fest. It's not the most desirable matchup. And Pat, that was one of your storylines as well when we were talking about this, was just not a lot of star power.
Yeah.
And you're not wrong,
There
but
isn't.
it's still the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. And I don't care who it is. I'm watching Super Bowl Sunday.